All right.
When do we know we start?
I'm gonna turn.
Start first here. Is she on?
Hello, how are we?
Hello.
Welcome, welcome. We'll wait a couple more minutes just so we have some people as they are logging on and joining us today. We are so excited to spend some time with you all and talk about everyone's favorite topic in the world, which is food, right? Everyone's favorite topic is food. So yeah, excited to get started. As we wait a few more minutes, perfect. I see you guys in the chat, so fun. While we're waiting on some other people to join us, I want everyone in the chat, if you can find the chat, to put in there, 1, where you're from, and 2, what your favorite food in the world is. Where you're from and what your favorite food is. Go ahead and put it in the chat, and that way we can get to know you a little bit more.
We'll give them a few minutes. I want a few minutes together.
Awesome. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Peanut butter. Love it, Susan. I wonder if you are crunchy or smooth.
You don't see one.
Awesome. Pizza. Oh, North Carolina. Amazing. Albuquerque. Steak. Oh, Michael, I wonder how you like your steak cooked. That's always an important question. Atlanta. I am also in Atlanta, Susan. Nice to meet you. Can't go wrong with tacos. Love it. Charlottesville. Amazing. Flatbread pizza. Doug, hello from Maryland. You are in Canada. That's amazing. Florida. Pizza and dark chocolate. I love it. Amazing. Italian food. So good. Crab cakes. Indian food. Pizza. Nashville. Hello. Cobb salad. Amazing. Look at all these. Lots of steak lovers on this call. Love it. I like all food. Anita, that's so funny. Yes. Carrot cake. Amazing. Amazing, amazing. Okay, you guys. Well, we will go ahead and just get started. I know we're still waiting on a couple people, but I'm ready to jump in. How about you, Bob?
I am ready to go. Hi, everybody.
Awesome, awesome. Hello. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Cody. I work for HelloFresh. Really excited to be talking to you a little bit about HelloFresh today. I want to know how many of you, maybe you have used HelloFresh before. Maybe you've heard of meal kits before. Really excited to dive in and talk a little bit about that. I want to pass it to Bob. Bob, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about Hilton Head Health and your mission statement.
Hi, everybody. Hey, it's great to see everybody. Actually, I wish I could see you. Thank you for joining us. I hope you're all staying safe and doing well. We are doing well here at H3. I'm assuming that almost everybody on the show today has been to H3, so you know a bit about us. As you know, we were closed for a while, but we are now open, and except for safe distancing signs and masks and face shields and no hugs and no high fives, everything's kind of getting back to normal. So things are going pretty well. I know it's been a challenging time, and it's a challenging time to be healthy. And it's especially a challenging time to eat healthfully and to have the motivation to plan and shop for and prepare healthy meals. And so we always get questions about the meal delivery services, but more now than ever. And so that's why we are so happy to be partnering today with HelloFresh to talk about how this might be a healthy option, or how you can make it a healthier option if you choose to use it. They've done the hard work. They have created some really interesting meals. They do the shopping and they get all the food in front of you. And the question is there a way that you can make this a part of your plan in a healthy way to help you achieve your goals? So we're looking forward to this exchange. So thank you, Cody.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Happy to be here. Yeah, so I'm not sure how many of you have used a meal kit delivery service before. I know most of us here are probably familiar with grocery delivery, right? So maybe maybe it's a like Walmart pickup or a Kroger click list, or maybe you've used a service like Instacart or Shipt or something like that. And the purpose of that is convenience, right? It's easy, it's convenient, it shows up right to your door, or someone can just pop it in your car for you. And that is absolutely amazing. Off the bat, HelloFresh is not just a grocery delivery service. Our whole mission is to change the way people eat forever. And so the whole purpose of what we do is to make the entire process of actually cooking your meal, preparing your meal, choosing your food that you're consuming, and making that whole process from start to finish super easy. So from the shopping, from the picking the meal, from the prep of it, knowing what kind of nutritional information you're getting beforehand, and easy cleanup. So we really would just want to make the whole dinner process and mealtime process as easy as possible for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of walk through a little bit about our company, about what we do, and how it could possibly be a great fit for you. And then Bob and I are going to have a whole section at the end to take all of your questions. So if you do have questions about the product or how we might be able to fit in your lifestyle, you can save those for the end, and we will be happy to answer them as we go. All right, Bob, you ready? You ready to dive in?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Amazing. Okay, so how does this work? How does it work using a meal kit delivery service? Well, here at HelloFresh, one thing that we are really excited about is how many different options we have, right? So we have 22 different options every single week, and they change every week. So, one of the reasons that we go out to eat a lot, or maybe sometimes that we compromise in the way that we want to eat, is just because it's 7 p.m., right? We don't know what we're going to do for dinner. We have no plan. And so we just grab something, or we just have no idea what to make. Or I don't know if you guys are like me, where you stare into your pantry or you stare into your refrigerator, really hoping you can piece something together. So with HelloFresh, we actually offer 22 of those menu items each week. So what this means for you is that you can sit down in the comfort of your home, look at 22 different menu items, which we'll walk through in just a couple minutes, and click some that look delicious to you. Once you've chosen those meals, we send you the farm fresh ingredients right to your front door. So if you can see, on the picture on your screen, there is a box there that says HelloFresh. So most people get maybe 3 meals in a week. So you can see those 3 bags in that box. We send you all you need to cook your recipe right then and there in that box. So I don't know if you can see how cute the little bottle of vinegar is, or the little bottle of jam. In fact, I even have one here that I can show you. I know I'm really small in your screen, but we send you exactly what you need as far as the ingredients. So it makes putting the meal together super simple. You just open up the ingredients, dump it in, really quick and super easy. So one of the benefits of this is, if you are trying to find new recipes. Maybe you're someone that has looked on Pinterest for some new recipes. Maybe you've gone shopping and bought a whole bunch of full-size ingredients to make your meal, and then they sit in your pantry forever. Bob, I don't know about you, but if I buy a tub of sour cream or Greek yogurt, 9 times out of 10, it goes bad before I can finish it. You know what I mean?
I agree with you 100%. And that was one of the things that we did notice. We had the opportunity to prepare 3 of these meals, and the quantities provided were exactly what was necessary. So I think one of the advantages is the lack of food waste. So I think you guys did a really good job with that.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Because, we all have great intentions when we go grocery shopping. And then, things happen and we don't get around to using all of our produce. And so, you end up with that slimy spinach in your bag because you just didn't get to finish it in time. One of the benefits about cooking with HelloFresh is that we do send you exactly what you need. So you don't have a bunch of excess waste or food products sitting in your fridge and going bad because you just simply didn't have the time to make it. Another benefit of how it works is, we send you all of those individually packaged meals, individually portioned, but then you got to cook it, right? So one of the best things about this product is that you can cook all of our meals in 6 steps, 30 minutes. So 6 steps, 30 minutes. And this is great because I don't know, we've got 84 people on this call. So I'm sure we come from a lot of different cooking backgrounds, cooking styles. Maybe you are super confident in the kitchen, you know what I mean? And you're like, okay, I know exactly how to cook. Or maybe, you need a little bit of help. And the best thing is, whether you are a chef or you're kind of new to cooking and preparing food, everyone can follow those easy 6 steps in 30 minutes. Especially right now, we know that you're at home a lot more. Most people are working from home right now. So to be able to be in and out of the kitchen in 30 minutes, on track with your goals, and having more time for yourself to relax and, enjoy your evening, that is really our goal here for you by using HelloFresh. Anything you'd like to add there, Bob?
Well, I will make a couple just general observations that I think support that. I think one thing that is very convenient, and I think during this time, convenience is a big issue. We're concerned about getting out and going to the store in some cases. And so it shows up and it's ready to go and it's safe. So I think those are 2 really important benefits. As I mentioned, we had the opportunity to prepare 3 of the meals. And so those of you that have been with us relatively recently, you'll know Chef T and you'll know Elizabeth, our dietitian, so that we kind of worked on this together, and our consensus was that the ingredients really were very fresh and of really good quality. They do provide everything that you need. You might have to add a little bit of your own oil or salt, but that's okay. Those are staples that you've got. No special equipment required. So, the things that you have to your disposal in terms of equipment necessary are things you're going to have anyway. The meals actually were very appealing. This is Thomas's take, Chef T. The meals were appealing to the senses. Looked good, smelled good, tasted good. So they're kind of deliberate on those ends. Cody mentioned that the directions were clear, and they were simple to follow. And I think even for someone who's not a real comfortable cook, someone who's not real comfortable in the kitchen, they could follow it and actually finish it in the time that they allotted. Another comment that Chef made is that he liked the fact that at least for the meals that we had, the veggies were roasted instead of the kind of the classic steamed or sort of boiled, so there was more flavor there. And I think it's a nice middle ground between some of the fully prepared meal plans you can get where you just pop it in the microwave and then having to do it all yourself. I like the idea of being engaged in that process and actually learning some of the methods of preparation and cooking that this allows you to be a part of. So I think those are some really positive general observations that we made as we were going through this process.
Incredible. Yeah, and I love that you said that about it being fresh food. There are some meal kits out there that are pre-prepared dinners, maybe microwavable, things like that. And our whole mission here at HelloFresh is to give you fresh ingredients. We want you to have fresh produce. We want you to have cage-free chicken and grass-fed beef and a really fresh, delicious meal. And a lot of the times, like Bob said, the reason we don't usually do that is because it can be a lot of work, from the grocery shopping to the prepping to the food waste to figuring out what to do with all these fresh ingredients. And so with HelloFresh, you have all of that nutritious food, but also in a simple way that is easy to prepare and something maybe different than you typically cook at home. So I don't know if any of you are visual people like me, right? You might be like, okay, I kind of understand how the process works. I choose the food, you send exactly what I need in this box. That's awesome. Take 6 steps, 30 minutes. I'm going to show you just a few pictures of some of the food that we offer, and then I'll go into a few reasons why people usually try HelloFresh. So this is an example of an upcoming menu, and I'm just going to kind of scroll through to give you a little preview of what we offer. So I don't know if you're visual like me, but like I mentioned, we have 22 different options every single week. They change every week. We have vegetarian options. We offer, seafood. We offer every kind of really meat you could think of, from turkey and beef and chicken and all kinds of things like that. And I love it because it's also a great variety, right? So, whether you're trying to eat super clean and healthy, I know Bob's going to really get into this in a little bit, or you're kind of wanting to splurge and enjoy and treat yourself, there's really an option for everybody. So this is a few of our menu items. And like I mentioned, each week they change. So you can go to the next week and you can see 22 brand new items to choose from. So yeah, so this is a little sneak preview. So like I mentioned before on how it works, you would just choose which meals you would want out of this menu, and we take care of the rest, super stress-free. Now, I'm going to go over a few of the reasons why people enjoy trying HelloFresh, right? Because it's like, okay, well, I could technically go to the grocery store and buy all of my own ingredients. So why would I want to order from a meal kit service? And I'm going to go over these 4 reasons, and I'll let Bob kind of follow up here as well. So number 1 is that ordering from a meal kit delivery service, it really does save you money. One, like we mentioned before, is that, when your food is sitting in the fridge and there's a lot of excess waste, you think that you're saving money by buying the entire thing of sour cream, when really you end up not using the entire thing. Yeah, let's see. Is anyone hearing some feedback there?
I'm getting a little bit of feedback.
Let's see.
Or that could be some construction traffic outside.
That could be it. Okay, no problem. Bob, if you just click the mute button on your screen, and then I can call on you to continue, and that way we can continue forward.
Okay, my mouse is not letting me get to where I click on that. I will if I can. It's not, okay. My mouse isn't letting me get there.
Okay, no problem.
You keep talking, I'll be right back.
Okay. All right, everyone. Yeah, sorry about that. We'll try to get that taken care of. All right, so number 1 is that it really does save you money. I'll kind of recap here. So, when you purchase your ingredients at the store, you have every intention, right, of using it all before it goes bad. But like we mentioned, a lot of times we're having to throw excess food out, right, like that sour cream or the whole thing of spinach that we were really hoping we could finish. So it saves you money by not having to buy those full-size ingredients. Not to mention, let's say you really want to be adventurous in the kitchen, you want to have fun, you want to try something new, but you have to spend, $14 on a full size of sesame oil. With HelloFresh, we send you exactly what you need, so you don't have to buy ingredients that you maybe will only use a tablespoon of for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? So that's a great option. So it saves you money at the grocery store. But number 2 is that all of our meals are $7.50 a plate. So whether you are getting salmon or steak or shrimp or chicken, $7.50 a plate is what you pay at HelloFresh, which I don't know about you, but it's really hard to go out to dinner and buy a nice salmon meal or a nice steak dinner for $7.50. So it allows you to have fresh, delicious, gourmet food right at home for a fraction of the cost. Not only that, but as you know, when you're cooking at home, you get to control how much butter and oil and sodium that you're adding to your food. So it's a great way to, enjoy gourmet meals, but also have control of what you're putting in your body. So number one is it really does save you money, a great affordable option. Number two, and this is one of my favorite parts, is it saves you time and stress. Right? One of the great benefits of this is that from the comfort of your home, you can sit down, scroll through our menu, choose some items that look delicious to you, and we do the rest. So it really cuts down on how many times you have to go to the grocery store, get out of the house. And number two is, like we said, a lot of the issue of cooking is just deciding what to make. So it saves you the stress of figuring out what you're going to make for dinner, because all you have to do is pull out your bag of HelloFresh ingredients and dinner's on the table in 30 minutes. And it does save you time, right? Cooking can be a lot when you go from, all the chopping and preparing and, cooking and then cleaning up. It can be a long process, but with HelloFresh, it's just 30 minutes and you're in and out of the kitchen. And we even have some quick options that only take 15 to 20. So there's really an option for everyone. Bob, is there anything you'd like to comment on here before I go to the next slide?
No, just to support what you're saying. We were impressed with the time, and we were able to stick to that time well. It is a little counterintuitive. You would think that a service like this would be more expensive, but I think controlling waste and being very specific with what's being provided helps to keep those costs down. And as we'll talk in a couple of minutes, you have a certain maybe recipe, but there's opportunities to take a look at that as an individual and say, how can I make that maybe healthier for me? And so we can make adjustments to those. So we can individualize this. As I mentioned briefly earlier, I think the biggest advantage is that it's hard to be creative and it's hard to plan and to think these things through. And as a consequence, often we kind of end up having the same 5 or 6 or 7 meals over and over and over again. And this provides an opportunity to see some new options, to get some variety, and let you do the hard work of planning, creating, shopping, and then it's up to the individual to kind of put it together, which I think keeps us engaged in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. All right, so there's 2 more reasons why a lot of people will give HelloFresh a try and move towards using a meal kit delivery service. Number 3 is that it is sustainable, right? So it's great for the environment. When you order with HelloFresh, we are actually the only meal kit service that is completely carbon neutral. Almost every single thing in your meal kit is recyclable. So whether you are really passionate about recycling or you have high hopes of starting one day, almost everything in your box can be recycled. We have eco-friendly packaging, and we cut down, when compared to the grocery store, cut down on carbon emissions by 25%. So, you think of all those boxes that go to the grocery store to fill it all up, when you're just getting one simple box to your house with everything you need for the full week. So it is great for the environment. Also, it's great because when I mentioned fresh ingredients, number 4, is that our ingredients are super, super fresh. Yeah, I love that, Dawn. Yes, we are. We partner with local farmers all over the United States. It's really important to us to have local farmer partners. In fact, we even know our avocado farmer by name. His name is Bob. Can you believe it? Bob, our avocado farmer's name is also Bob. And so it's really important to us to make sure that you are getting great farm-to-table experience as far as freshness of ingredients. And as you can see, I know it's kind of small, but the supply chain, the reason that your ingredients are so fresh is because we cut out all the middlemen, right? So it goes from the farm to HelloFresh, overnighted to your house. So typically, when you go to the grocery store and you get a zucchini and you have about 2 or 3 days to use it, with us, since we cut out all those middlemen, your food is going to last fresh in your fridge for 7 days. What this means for you is that you can cook whenever you want. So let's say something comes up and you can't cook your HelloFresh meal on Tuesday night, it's going to stay fresh in your fridge until you're ready to do it within 7 days. Yeah, so 3 and 4 is just that it is great for the environment and it is really great fresh food. And so you're getting that farm to table experience right to your front door. Anything on that note, Bob?
Just to comment on the importance of being environmentally aware, how we raise food, how it's shipped and how it's prepared all has an impact. And if we not only want to be healthy now, but we want our environment and our planet to be healthy for our kids and our grandkids, it's something we need to be thinking about. So, and we noticed that minimal amount of boxes and minimal amount of waste as related to those kinds of things. And again, it's nice to see that most of those things can be recycled. So, yeah, I was impressed. I have to be honest. I'm a bit skeptical of these things when they first come out, and a little reluctant to give them a try. And so, the fact that we had the opportunity to actually see it, put into practice, gave me a better perspective of it.
Awesome. Awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you one way that you can really get the insight to each meal on our website. And then I'm going to pass it over to Bob to talk a little more specifically about the programs that you all have and that you participate in. So I'm going to go back to our website and go back to this menu for a moment. So I know I saw a comment as well, if we could scroll a little slower. So I'll show you, let's say you have a HelloFresh account and you come in here and you start looking through the menu items, right? And you're like, ooh, I'm really excited about this chimichurri barramundi. I don't know how many of you love fish. Barramundi is a white fish. It's really firm like salmon, and it is so delicious and almost buttery tasting. So let's say you click on this recipe. You're really interested in trying it. You can see what it comes with. And then as you scroll down, you can actually see everything about this recipe. So the calories, you can see all of the ingredients that are going to come in your box. You're going to see everything that you need on your end, which really the only thing that we don't send you is olive oil, butter, salt, and pepper, just because, we want you to have the freedom to use what you like of that preference. And then you can click see full recipe. Now this is where I know Bob's going to go into this of how you can really modify your recipe. When you come down here, you can see every single ingredient as well as the nutritional information. Now this nutritional information is estimated that you are following this recipe exactly as it's called. So let's say, in the recipe it says to add a tablespoon of butter. Let's come down so I can show you. It'll show you your utensils, exactly what to do step by step. And then here, so let's say in here when you're making your couscous, it says to add a tablespoon of butter. If you don't want to add a tablespoon of butter, you absolutely don't have to, and that's going to cut down on your fat content as well. So I always like to remind people it's great because you have control over what goes in your food. You have control over what goes in your body, and you can modify the recipe as you see fit, which I know Bob is going to go into in just a moment. So just one of the benefits is that before you ever order, you get to know everything about that meal before you ever make a decision. All righty, Bob, I will pass it over to you to talk a little bit about what healthy eating looks like.
Okay, thanks.
Bob, I'm having a hard time hearing you. I think you might be muted.
How about that?
Yep, there you are.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right, I'll start over. I'm sorry about that.
No problem.
So once again, those of you that have been with us, this should not be unfamiliar to you. This is the Harvard School of Public Health's Healthy Plate. And it just is a quick reference to what a healthy plate should look like. We'd like to see half of that plate non-starchy veggies complemented with some fruits, We'd like to see about a quarter of that plate with whole grains and a quarter of that plate healthy protein. And those proteins could be plant-based sources. It could be healthy animal-based sources such as fish and poultry and so on. And so as you prepare your meals and as you think about applying the meals that you might get through HelloFresh, you'd like the end product to look something like this. In fact, this might be a more attractive way of looking at it. Can we progress to the next slide?
Yep.
So this is something that we have put together using kind of real foods, a bit more attractive, but I think it's the same message. So as you experiment with HelloFresh, if you choose to do so, you'd like the end result of the meal that you come up with to look something like this, to take up these percentages or these proportions on the plate. Moving towards a more whole foods, plant-centered approach, relying less on animal products and more on the plant-based proteins as much as that's reasonably possible.
Awesome.
And so I mentioned that we had the opportunity to sort of check out the menu ahead of time. And once again, not new to those of you that have been with us at our program, one of the phrases we like is unwise, better, best. And so we took a look at this week's menu, and then we categorized the foods into the unwise, better, best. Now, it's important to emphasize that unwise, better, best is relative to the options. So there may be some things in this category that we have listed as unwise that compared to other things might actually be pretty healthy. So this does not mean these are inherently unhealthy. It's just compared to the other options, we thought these were the unwise options. And so the first one is the Firehouse Cheeseburger. Let me back up for a second, and I'll just give you a quick overview of what some of the guidelines are relative to calories, some of the traditional nutrient issues that people might want to be aware of. And then I'll kind of let you know how these things fit in. So most people have a caloric need of somewhere between 15 and maybe 2,000 calories. If you're trying to manage your weight or lose weight, maybe on the 1,500. If you're trying to maintain more, up towards the 20, the 2,000, or maybe a tad more. We'd like to keep our saturated fat intake to about 15 grams per day, our sodium to about 2,000. So just to give you a reference as to how we sort of categorize some of these things into the unwise, better, best. So for example, the Firehouse Cheeseburger came in at about 1,000 calories. So a little on the higher side compared to some of the options that they make available. Pretty high in saturated fat, as you might expect, because it's ground beef at 22 grams. And if our budget is 15, obviously that's a bit on the high side. And sodium was about 1,380 milligrams. There are opportunities to cut back on sodium, and we'll get to that a little bit later on. So that's one of the reasons why that ended up being in that unwise category. The next one, category 2, and maybe surprisingly, was the black, whoops, was the black bean and poblano flautas. Often this had to do with the amount of butter or cheese or things like that that they had as a part of their recipe. And once again, as Cody mentioned, there would be opportunities for you to look at that and say, I might choose not to use as much as they call for. We also put the pork sausage spaghetti into the unwise category. The biggest concern there was it was really pretty high in sodium at 1,750 milligrams. And so once again, you could perhaps make that a better choice by cutting back on some of the ingredients they call for. And the one that might be kind of surprising to people, that kind of sounds like it might be one of the healthiest, we actually put into the unwise category is the plant-based protein, bulgogi. And it's interesting because, you know, we are all recommending that we move towards a plant-centered approach. And the fact that this says plant-based suggests that it might be the best choice. But at 800 calories, it was relatively high compared to some of the others. It also had 17 grams of saturated fat, which put it over your daily budget. And this one also had a fair amount of added sugars, mostly from the sauces that are available. So once again, an opportunity to fine tune. As presented on their menu, we thought these sort of fit the bill as unwise compared to the other options. So our next category are some that we thought were better. So maybe we move to that next slide. So these we said were better with some modifications. And so the first one we thought that was better with modifications was the Southwest shrimp tacos. The biggest sort of downside on this one was sodium, and so the modification would be to reduce the amount of sauce that was provided, use the salt that we might call for sparingly. We also thought that could be improved by adding in your own whole wheat tortillas instead of using the tortillas that might be recommended. I'll come back and talk about maybe some of the options that you might want to just have on hand to substitute for some of the other meals that we get to as well. The next one that we thought could fit the bill as being better with some modifications was the chicken poblano fajitas. The modification there was go light on the sauce because of the sodium. Or they have a really good pico sauce there that looked like to us it could just be used by itself. That might be enough. And once again, substituting in whole wheat tortillas might increase the quality of that meal as well. And then the other one that we picked as being better with modification was the blackened penne pasta. Kind of high in saturated fat and sodium, but again, there were opportunities we thought that could be improved by cutting back on the amount of sour cream that was called for, or maybe using a reduced fat sour cream, cutting back on the amount of butter that was recommended in the recipe. And then once again, we would suggest using whole wheat penne instead of a more traditional penne. So those are our better options. And then finally, the ones that we thought might actually be the best, the harissa, if that's the proper pronunciation, sweet potato pockets. They came in at about 740 calories, 7 grams of fat, saturated fat, so low and relatively low in sodium compared to others. And the one real benefit there is it's pretty high in fiber. And this one they called for whole wheat pita. So I thought that was, a better choice as far as the grain option was concerned. The sweet and sour pork tenderloin, which sounded really good to me, at 7 grams of saturated fat, pretty low, relatively low in calories as well. We could cut back a little bit on the sodium by cutting back on the sweet soy glaze. And we also thought that if we could add a bit more green pepper or some other non-starchy veggie, that could make that a better, more fulfilling and balanced meal. So those are the 3 that we thought actually were the best options of the week that we had the opportunity to review.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. And I love that, just like you said, Bob, there's so many opportunities to modify, make it how you want, do different modifications, replacements, or also just omit certain ingredients that maybe you don't enjoy or maybe you don't want as much of. But something really fun is that, Bob, I know that you guys made some of these meals, so I'm going to share some photos from that and let's talk about that for a second.
Okay, we did, and it was fun. And because as I mentioned earlier, I hadn't had the opportunity to do it. And so I'll go over kind of our experience and maybe some of the suggestions or adjustments that we might recommend. So the first one we'll talk about is the ginger lime salmon. And this was one that Elizabeth, our dietitian, had the pleasure of preparing. We each kind of took one, and she made the comment that it was really tasty. Portions are reasonable. The salmon was a nice piece, and satisfying. I think one of the things that people find when they come to our program that they are surprised that they can be satisfied on maybe less than they thought. And these portions are actually reasonable. They're not over, but they're satisfying. It called for roasted broccoli, and again, our chef was impressed in that the roasting is a tastier way of preparing meals. Although I will say we kind of lost track of our time, and we ended up with some crispy broccoli. So fortunately, we had plenty of broccoli in the house, and so we went ahead and prepared some more. One of the recommendations we would make on this particular meal is to sub out the rice that was provided with brown rice, or actually our chef actually suggested maybe even barley or some other whole grain. That's a theme that I think you'll be hearing us say as we go through all of these meals, to look for opportunities to kind of increase the whole grain versions there. It called for 2 tablespoons of peanut butter in the sauce. I'm sorry, 2 tablespoons of butter in the sauce, and that would be an opportunity maybe to cut back. We also thought it was pretty liberal when they called for 2 tablespoons of butter in the rice, and we actually think that could be done without any of the butter being added. So even though this one wasn't very high in saturated fat, there's an opportunity to cut back by using the butter more sparingly. The next one was the creamy dill chicken, and that was one that I had the pleasure of preparing. And first of all, the chicken was really good. It was moist. We were able to do it without overcooking it. The green beans were also, they were roasted and really tasty. The one adjustment we made here is that as presented, it actually had about double the potatoes and about half the green beans. And so we cut the potatoes in half and doubled up the green beans. And so that would be another general rule of thumb. As you're, shopping on their site and making your decisions, if you see that a recipe you're getting or a meal that you're getting calls for green beans, just add an extra portion, to your shopping list, and make sure you've got a few extras that you can add to the meal. And then the other one that we had was the honey Brussels sprouts with lemon ricotta. And that was an interesting one that was a little surprising. I had never thought about using sort of shaved Brussels sprouts as a part of a dish like this. And I think some of us find it difficult to actually find ways to use Brussels sprouts. So it's a good way to kind of hide vegetables in something that may not normally have them. We kind of like that hot honey sauce that you guys provided on that. That was a unique flavor, so we like that. One of the recommendations we would make on this one might be to add a couple slices of some onions and maybe tomatoes before you put this in the oven to add a little more extra nutrition and a little extra flavor. But again, overall, easy to prepare. We were able to do it in the time that they allotted. And I think that for someone who's not real comfortable in the kitchen, it provides an opportunity to have success. And of course, success breeds confidence and the opportunity to try it again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. I love all of your suggestions, and I'm very impressed with the plating. You guys, those photos, they look very nice and professional.
Well, very good. We'll have to credit Chef T for that, and our photographer as well.
So nice. Yes. So just like Bob said, there are tons of areas for you to modify or take away. And so I know I saw some questions come through about like if we offer certain dietary restrictions or, help with that. And so going back to this menu, I just want to show you one more time, as you're scrolling through, if you do want to look at something, for instance, I know this was one of those options. We definitely have little markers showing you things about the recipe. So I know someone said, there looks like there's quite a few spicy options. One of the great things is because everything is individually portioned and individually packaged, you get to decide what you put on there. So if there is something that is a little bit spicy, or something that calls for some sriracha sauce, you always can omit that to keep it from being as spicy. I talk from experience as I have a husband who does not enjoy spicy things, so I'm very used to kind of pulling back on some of the spicy for him and loading it up for me. So But yeah, so that's a great way, just like Bob said, to modify. And as a reminder, like sometimes I in my past have modified my meals. For instance, if I wanted a cheeseburger, but was still trying to stay on track with my goals, I would omit the bun and still be able to enjoy the cheeseburger that I wanted at that time. Or just like Bob said, if I wanted the Thai coconut curry chicken and I was excited about it, but I wanted some more veggies, I would just add some extra green beans. So plenty of ways to modify it the way that you would like or hope. But one of the great things about HelloFresh is that it is completely flexible to you. So you don't have to order if you don't want to. So, with our product, it's not a forced subscription where you have to order every single week. It's one of those situations where you order what you want when you want it. So if you want to order once a month, if you want to order once every 6 months, if you want to cook and order with us every single week, you absolutely can do that. So that's one of the great ways that you can use our products. Now, I'm really, really excited because we have a surprise and advantage for every person on this call. We know that you guys have certain goals that you're trying to hit and really striving to just eat in a way that fuels your body well. And we believe, and we're so thankful for this partnership with Bob and what you guys do, that HelloFresh really could add some variety and a little bit of spice to your life, when it comes to cooking. We would love for you to try the product itself. And so, I always like to say it's kind of like a restaurant. You can read reviews, you can learn about it, you can scroll and look it up on the internet, but you never really know if it's something that you're going to enjoy until you get your hands on the product, you taste the food for the first time, and you experience that 6-step process. So with that being said, we actually are providing an exclusive discount for every single person on this call today if you would like to try HelloFresh. And I'm going to walk you through that after Bob and I do a little bit of Q&A. But just for an example, most people, when they order HelloFresh, they get 3 meals. Our meals feed 2 people, which is great because if I'm cooking for just myself, I always have those leftovers for lunch the next day. So typically, most people order 3 nights of dinner. It ends up being 6 plates of food. So I just want you to picture 6 plates of food. So with tax, shipping, and everything, you're looking at $60 for 6 plates of food. Really great deal. Like I said, fresh ingredients, whatever kind of protein you could like and enjoy for $60. But because you guys are here today and you have participated in this call, and Bob is awesome and we're really excited for you to get your hands on this product, we are actually bringing your first order from $60 all the way down to $30. So for $30, you all get the opportunity to try 6 plates of HelloFresh, 3 different recipes, and it'll give you the opportunity to really get your hands on the product and see if it would fit your lifestyle. So I'm going to put up your discount code right here, and I'm going to walk everyone through exactly how to access this code so you can try the food and see how you like it for yourself. But before we do that, we're going to open up some Q&A. If you have any questions specifically for myself or Bob about HelloFresh or about how to modify, we are here to answer your questions. Anything you'd like to add to that, Bob, as we wait for some questions to come in? Oh, it looks like you're muted.
I keep forgetting that I'm unmuting and then muting. Sorry.
You're fine.
Yeah, I agree. As I mentioned earlier, I was a tad skeptical, but having the opportunity to try it out, showed me how the quality is really good, and that there's opportunities to modify it if you choose to. Some of these things we've already mentioned, but I'll just go through a couple general recommendations we might make, and just to reinforce. So hopefully, and maybe this is a question you can ask or answer in the future, there'll be a bit more emphasis on including the whole grains actually on the product. But in the meantime, if you're going to use this, I would just have whole grains in your pantry and ready to go. So anytime one of their meals calls for white rice, just use brown rice. If it calls for pasta of any form, make sure you've got the whole wheat penne or the whole wheat spaghetti, whatever it is that you might want to be substituting it for. I think the idea of maybe almost always adding an extra serving of veggies, whatever they call for. And so when you know you're ordering something that calls for green beans or broccoli, just get a couple extra when you're shopping so you always have that available. And then remember that sometimes people are unwilling to adjust recipes because they think that's the way it's supposed to be. Well, these are a great place to start, but that's what it is. You can always adjust. So if you feel like you need to cut back on the starch or add more of this, don't hesitate to do that. Just ask yourself the question, can I get by with less of these things, or would it be better if I added more of those things? You can substitute reduced fat cheeses. You can use reduced fat sour cream. You can use Pam if you choose to. So I would be creative. Let them do the creativity with the meal planning. You can be a little creative with your meal adjustments. If the meal calls for 3 tortillas, you might use 2, but fill them up with all the veggies that are provided. So I think that those are the general comments and then recommendations we might make around this.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. And I always like to say, it's kind of like when you go to a restaurant, you can ask for certain modifications in your meal, but the beauty of you cooking at home is you don't have to ask. You can completely do it on your own in a way that fits your dietary needs. So I just love that. I love that you guys are excited and on board. And I'll go in the chat and answer a few of these questions. I see a question from Karen. How long does it take to get your first order? So if you want it as soon as possible, it takes 5 days to get to you. And that is because we actually do source all of those ingredients fresh. So it takes 5-day turnaround to get your ingredients, package everything up at HelloFresh, and make sure it is to you. So that's a 5-day process. The great thing is, and I'll walk you all through this in our last 5 minutes, is if you're excited about trying the product, but maybe you just bought groceries, you always can schedule out your first delivery in advance. So let's say you're really excited, you want to take advantage of your discount, but you don't want to order until maybe November. I'll show you exactly how you can do that. Amy asked if we can freeze the meals. Absolutely, you can. We encourage you to order less meals if you think that you can't cook them all in that same week, just because we do pride ourselves on the freshness of the ingredients, and so we want you to experience them fresh. And as you know, if you freeze produce and then you unfreeze produce, it's not as delicious and crunchy as it could be if you ate it fresh. So you absolutely can freeze, especially our proteins, things like that, but we would recommend getting fewer meals to eat them as they're fresh that week. Colleen asked, what kind of oil do you use in the meal? That's a great question. So we actually don't send you oil, butter, or salt and pepper. And that is really so you can modify in a way that you enjoy. We have a lot of customers who are allergic to certain types of oil or have to use olive or avocado oil. And so we don't send you oil. So that way, just like Bob said, you have the ability to alter it as you want. So if you want to use Pam, if you want to use butter, if you want to use grapeseed oil or whatever that is, you have the ability to do so and control how much you're using. Patricia asked if we have a test panel in advance of offering new recipes. Yes, we have an entire culinary team that works year-round in creating and crafting our menu items. And so, yes, they go through a lot of testing before the recipes ever make it on our menu. So that is a great question. It's Michelle, I believe, or maybe Michael. I am not sure if you can rewatch this. Bob or Taryn, do you know the answer to that question?
I don't know the answer to that, but do you know? Can this be rewatched?
Yes, you were recording it, yeah.
Okay. Yes. So, do you know?
This is being recorded. We're going to send a link out on Facebook and email everyone.
Okay, so this is being recorded, and so this will be. We'll let you know on Facebook, and we'll give people the opportunities to see it again.
Awesome. Awesome. Donna asked if we're taking suggestions. Yeah, we actually have a suggestions box on our website. We are always innovating our menu. We're always adding to it. 2 years ago, we only had 12 menu items. Now we have 22. We used to only offer 3 vegetarian meals, and now we offer 4 to 6. So always listening, always want your suggestions. Bob, I think the beeping is back. Thank you so much. Yeah, so always welcoming suggestions. We just added ground turkey to our menu, so really always trying to be innovative. I'll kind of run through these super quick. Patricia, yes, our favorites do repeat. We have a section of our menu called Hall of Fame, which are our top rated recipes by customers, customer favorites. They usually come on the menu once every 3 to 4 weeks, so we always keep our fingers crossed and wait for our favorites to come back. The fat guideline that you mentioned earlier, LaTanya, are you referring to what Bob mentioned as far as 4H3?
I can just kind of quickly review that. So what we mentioned is that there's a general guideline that we try to keep our saturated fat intake to about 15 grams per day. That's based on about a 2,000 calorie sort of budget. Now, one of the things that we try to talk about at H3 is not to get too bogged down in those numbers. So we don't want to become fanatical about it, but just as a way to kind of evaluate some of the options, that was one of the things that we looked at. If you move generally towards a more plant-centered, whole foods approach, you're cutting back on the amount of animal products you're using, chances are you're keeping that saturated fat at a pretty good level.
Great answer. Yeah. Okay, I'll run through these really quick. How do we ship it in order to keep it fresh? Great question. So we actually use eco-friendly ice packs that keep everything cold in the box. Also, our insulation changes dependent on the season and where you're located in the country. So your box and how it's packaged is going to look different depending on what state you're in and what time of year it's in, but your box is guaranteed to stay cold and fresh on your doorstep for 36 hours. So if your box gets delivered and you're not home, it's going to be good on that doorstep for 36 hours. Our average shipping cost is $7.99, so that $60 price I gave you for 6 meals, that is including tax and shipping. So yeah, that is the entire cost, and your shipping is free on your first order if you use our discount code we're offering today. We offer tons of family-friendly options. Dawn, great question. We do offer packages for a family of 4. So yeah, you absolutely can modify, but also we do have specific family-friendly options. Unfortunately, Dan, we do not ship to Hawaii. We are working on expanding our shipping. We don't ship to Alaska or Hawaii right now, but we are in the process of working on it. And let's see, what oils you roast your veggies? So that is, I guess that's a question for you, Bob, of what oils you use when you roast your veggies.
Yeah, we generally recommend extra virgin olive oil. It would be one that not only provides a good healthy profile, but adds a nice distinctive flavor to those. But if you want something milder, you can use canola, for example. The only oil that we're really encouraging people to use sort of minimally would be coconut oil. So we would avoid coconut oil as the primary oil that's being used.
Great. Perfect answer. Okay, so now I will just run through and show you exactly how to access your discount. I know Donna asked, there is a special on the website. This discount code is better than anything you can find on the website. So that's our promise to you at H3. This discount is about $90 off, and it includes free shipping on your first box. But it also makes your first initial order way lower, which is awesome. So that about $30 deal is available with this discount code alone. Really excited that you are excited to try this, Lynn. That's awesome. And then last question, Jackie. We actually have a couple different shipping partners. So depending on where you're located, we usually ship FedEx, UPS. Those are our 2 main delivery providers, but it can vary just depending on where you are located. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will show you exactly how to access your HelloFresh discount, and that way you know how to get it. So Give me 1 second to share my screen here to this new web page. And like I said, this code is going to expire, but the great thing is if you were really excited to try it, even if you want to try it in a couple weeks, you don't have to get it immediately. So let me do a new screen share and I will show you how to do it. Okay, so here we are on the HelloFresh website. What you'll do when you get there, any offers that pop up, you just want to reject them because your offer is going to be better. So you're going to click that big green button that says View Our Plans. And this is where it's kind of tricky. So most people get that 3 meals for 2 people. So that was that deal I said, normally $60, going to come down to about $30 today. So you would choose that. If you have a bigger family, you absolutely can do 4 people. Your price will increase a little bit, but you'll still get a discount. And then you'll scroll right here under Select This Plan. Before you click it, you're going to come all the way down here to Got a Promo Code. And you're going to put in HHH 2020. Click Apply, and it's going to say, yay, you're getting a discount. Woo! Little exclamation point. You'll click Select This Plan, and it's going to ask you to put in your email address. You'll put in your email and create a password, and that is when you will go to this next screen. And I apologize. I know we're out of time, so I'm going to show you just one more thing and then pass it back to Bob to close us. Once you put in your email and add in your email and password, it's going to bring you to this screen. And here is where you'll see your address. And right here under your total, everyone, this is where you're going to choose your first delivery day. So you'll click this calendar and you can choose any day. So even if you want to push it out till November, that is how you'll do it. So you'll choose that first delivery day, click next step, commit to that first box, you'll put in your card, and then this discount will be locked on your account. So anytime you want to order for the next 4 orders, you will have this specific discount. All right, Bob, how awesome is this?
Yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate you walking us through this. I think part of the reluctance is just, not really knowing how to navigate it. So you've done a really good job of doing that. I did see another question. Somebody asked, why not coconut oil? Just a quickie on that. It's just high in saturated fat. We just think there's some better oils that are, including extra virgin olive oil, that would be a better choice. So we encourage you to give it a try. But remember, feel free to adjust and modify. You want to make this not only tasty for you, but as healthy as it can be. And then, let us know. Once you give it a try, feel free to give us some feedback. We'd like to hear how it's going. And we want to really thank you for taking the time. It's as I'm scrolling through, I'm seeing some names that I think I can picture who you are. So thank you for taking the time. Stay safe. And we hope to see you back at H3 sometime soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you, H3, for having us. Donna, you can sign up with just a new email. So if you've used us before, just use a different email when you sign up. And we're really excited. If you guys have any questions, I'm available to help. I will get with H3 of giving my contact information. So I'll be here if you need me. But thank you, Bob. Thank you, H3. So happy about this partnership. And I hope you all enjoy your delicious HelloFresh meals and that they help you just get closer to your goals and feeling the best version of yourself.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.